going on, guys? It's UrAvgConsumer, and you might have heard that Microsoft just dropped a few new Surface devices, and your boy got a little sneak peek. I got invited out to Microsoft's campus to check out their labs and some of the new products in person. And I love hitting up their campus because there's always a lot of cool stuff to see. I'm talking about prototypes of the devices before they're consumer ready, some of the 3D printing machines that they use to come up with the ideas and the concepts behind the actual products, even the color lab where they figure out the exact colors that are gonna make it on the final versions. I'm talking about Surface, Xbox, all of that stuff. It all gets chosen in that one room, which is absolutely insane. And we even got a chance to check out the Inclusive Tech Lab, where Microsoft's doing a ton of work on the accessibility side of things. Not to mention, we also checked out the world's quietest room, Microsoft's acoustic chamber, where they test all of the speakers, make sure everything sounds perfect. And if you're curious about how I sound when I'm in here, this is it. And this is with the door open. It's absolutely wild.
I hear no echo at all.
There's no echo does not exist in here. But I know you guys don't care about my experience on the tour. You want to hear about new products, right? Well, they've got quite a few. So while we were there, we got access to a special room with all of the new Surface gear. So first things first, we've got the Surface Pro 9. Now the Surface Pro 9 has a similar look to last year's model, same overall body, but they've added quite a few new colors. Well, they added 2 new colors, but they're really good. They added Sapphire as well as Forest, so a new blue and green option, something we've never seen on the Surface Pro line before. And they even teamed up with this company called Liberty London to work on a special edition called the Liberty Special Edition. It looks amazing though. So it looks really cool to see it engraved with that new sapphire color. I do hope we see new designs come to the Surface. Maybe we'll see other collaborations in the future, because while I don't know if the pattern is exactly for me, but if we're seeing more designs like this come to Surface products, more special editions, I'm here for it. So they've got new colors, a new pattern, but they've also got some new I/O. So we're gonna be seeing 2 USB-C ports. Both are Thunderbolt 4, so that's huge, very happy for that. So now you can connect displays, really fast accessories, definitely a good thing. And of course the Surface Connect port as well. Now in terms of cameras, we've got a new 1080p camera in the front, as well as a 10 megapixel in the rear, which should support 1080p as well as 4K video. And of course we still have the dope 13-inch PixelSense display that supports up to 120 Hz refresh rate, so we still have that great screen quality there. And for my spec lovers out there, this is what we've got inside. So for our processor, we've got 12th generation Intel Core i5 or i7 processors, depending on what you want. And we've got between 8 and 32 gigs of RAM, as well as Intel's Iris Xe graphics, between 128 to 1 terabyte of storage, and up to 15.5 hours of battery life with typical usage. So that's pretty much the Surface Pro 9, but there's also the Surface Pro 9 with 5G. And the specs there might look a little bit different. You guys can see them right here. And you might notice that this thing has Microsoft's SQ3 processor, as well as their NPU, which is their neural processing unit, which offers some really interesting stuff. Now you guys know I'm not gonna sit here and get nerdy with you. What's the real difference here, right? Well, this uses a different processor, of course, than the Intel options, but what's really different here is the NPU. And the NPU is going to be able to unlock a few new cool features. One, of course, being with the camera. It offers some really cool background blurs that don't tax your CPU, so you don't have to worry about your computer taking a hit in performance when you try to use those background blurs when you're on a Zoom call or something. It also helps to make sure you look well lit on camera. You know, for folks like me, that's a big deal. Not to mention, it also has an impact on the sound quality of your mics. Now, this is where things got a little crazy for us. So we actually went to their audio labs to check this out and tried it right on the device. And with this NPU, it completely removes background noise. So if you happen to be working in a crazy loud environment and you're on Zoom calls, you really don't have to worry about the background noise. Okay, so right now we are checking out the NPU on the new Surface. Okay, so right now we are testing
Oh my god.
the NPU on the new Surface. It was so loud in the room while we tested this feature, I couldn't hear myself, and the Surface was still able to pick up my voice while not letting even a single clap get in there. It was insane. So if you happen to have like dogs barking, kids at home just making tons of noise in the background. If you do pick this up, you'd be surprised at just how much that thing eliminates. So lots of cool stuff happening with the Surface Pro 9, but now let's talk about the Surface Laptop 5. So with this, we still have the same 13.5 and 15-inch options, but the colors now include silver, black, sandstone, as well as a new sage. So that same sage that we saw come with the Surface Go 2, now is going to be on the Laptop 5. Now spec-wise for the Laptop 5, we've got a few options. You can choose between a 12th generation Intel Core i5 or i7 processor, and they both come with Intel's Iris Xe graphics, and you can choose between 8 and 32 gigs of RAM, and from 256 gigs all the way up to 1 terabyte of storage. And we're looking at up to 18 hours of battery life on the 13.5-inch model and 17 on the 15-inch model. Now in terms of ports, this also got the upgraded USB-C with Thunderbolt 4, so that is also a huge win, as well as a USB 3.1 port. And I believe Microsoft even made some changes to the keyboard, so you get an even quieter typing experience. And we know the Surface products always have really good keyboards, so I'm here for it. Now that's it for the Surface Laptop 5, but they also added the Surface Studio 2 Plus. Now, Microsoft didn't make any changes to the exterior of the Surface Studio, which I don't think anybody is mad at. That thing looks amazing. It's the computer that Ari was okay with having in our house on the main floor, so I'm glad they didn't change things up much there, but they did change a lot of stuff with the internals. So what does that mean? We got some new ports, baby. So in the back, we've got 3 USB-C Thunderbolt 4 ports, which I am super happy about, as well as 2 USB 3.1 ports. You've got your headphone jack as well as your Ethernet port. So I am glad that they fully embrace Thunderbolt 4 across all of the new devices, especially seeing 3 ports here. So Microsoft went an interesting route, and with the Surface Studio 2 Plus, there's only one configuration. So this configuration is going to have Intel's 11th generation Core i7 processor, an NVIDIA RTX 3060 graphics card, 32 gigs of RAM, as well as 1 terabyte of storage. And that's it. Now, Microsoft thinks that this is the sweet spot for creators, people who would be really taking advantage of the Surface Studio. So I'm curious what you guys think. Does this line up with what you'd want? Let me know with a comment down below. And if you're not familiar with the Surface Studio, it's got the small base at the bottom with that beautiful 28-inch PixelSense display. Now the PixelSense display here is pretty much the same, but Microsoft did calibrate the color so it's a bit more accurate. Now we're getting an upgraded 1080p camera here, as well as those studio microphones, and not to mention, we've got Dolby Atmos in the speakers as well. Now, Microsoft also made a few adjustments in the software side of things. When you have the Surface Studio laid all the way down, you'll now see the taskbar gets a little bit bigger so it's easier to do touch inputs. So there are a couple of menu options that are just gonna be a little bit easier to touch when it's in that lower state. They also added some of that to the Surface Pro 9. If you detach the smart keyboard, you'll be able to get those bigger icons because you're basically like in tablet mode. So those are some nice little quality of life changes that I think are gonna be really cool. And next to the Surface Studio, we saw some new accessories that are gonna be coming out as well. Now they've got this new Surface Audio dock, which isn't just a speaker, this thing is a legit dock. In the back, you've got ports, so if you want to connect this thing to a display or maybe just use the extra USB ports back there, you got that option. And it's not something I've ever seen before on a speaker. It's even got some dedicated controls if you're on a video conference. So if you want to like raise your hand during a call, mute your mic, all that kind of stuff, you got all that access right from the speaker, which I think is pretty cool. They even dropped in this Presenter Plus remote, and this should be cool for folks who are making presentations while on those Zoom calls, but they don't exactly want to stay at their desk. Maybe if you're like walking around and you want to just use your clicker, you're gonna have an option for that as well. So lots of new Surface stuff dropping, but I'm curious what you guys think. Let me know in the comment section down below which ones you're most excited for. Do you feel like they've upgraded them enough? Was there something that you guys really wanted to be added that wasn't? Sound off in the comments, let me know what you think, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Till then, it's your average consumer. Peace. I'm not gonna lie, I think I'm leaning towards the Forest, Jay. The Forest Surface Pro 9.
Oh, surprise.
I know, right? Like, green, it's different.
Okay.